Hello, in this presentation I want to show you how to create and update a professional, personal macro workbook in Excel. The Personal Macro Workbook is a good place to store your common macros, and will always be accessible whenever Excel is open, if is saved in Slow Start folder. There are many advantages of using the personal.xlsb file. Excel opens the Personal Macro Workbook as a hidden file every time that you open the program or a specific Excel file. I want to add a custom button to the Quick Access toolbar that will access a code stored in a module in personal.xlsb file to call a user form also stored in personal.xlsb file. So when the button is pressed, a user interface will be shown over any current open Excel file. Any macros that are stored there are available to run with any workbook, even if the files are not macro enabled. Now, let's start and show you, step by step, how to achieve this. Starting from a new workbook, as presented, I will show you that at this moment there is no existing code in project. In the VBA window, there is no code, no module, or user form, as you can observe. I will save this file in the Excel Startup folder. Here, you can see the path. Now, I will change the name and extension of the file, as presented. Now, the file was renamed and saved in the right location, as you can see. Next, I will edit the file and prepare it for its purpose. I will remove two useless sheets. Next, I will switch to VBA window, and insert a user form. I rename this user form, as presented. Now, I will insert a module, add the code to show the user form. Next, I will rename the module and save the project. At running the macro, the user form will shown over the file. But, if I try to select any cell of the document, I'm not able, because I must switch show modal to false, to access the file, otherwise is not possible. Next, I will try again. Now it's possible. Next, from the toolbox I can add features as required. This is only for example. How to build a functional user form is not part of this presentation. You can build as you need, store in personal file, and access as I will show you next. Now, from the File menu, I will access the Options window. Next, switch to the Quick Access Toolbar tab and select Macros. The only one existing macro appears here. Next, I want to add it in the right list, but before, I want to back up the toolbar customization. I do this backup on a mounted and shared server see one of my previous presentation. Now, I will add the macro to Quick Access Toolbar and assign an icon to it. Now, I will export again the toolbar customization to server in order to be accessible for import from all network computers. The purpose of this is to not repeat all the steps for adding the macro button and icon to all network computers. Only to import this customization, because there is no way to add this with the macro to Quick Access Toolbar. As you see, the button was added to the toolbar. On button push, the user form will shown. Considering another computer, I will import from server the customization and replace the existing one, after the personal.xlsb file is in the Excel Startup folder, on each network computer. So, as you can see, the customization was imported, the new button is accessible and it works. Now, I will save the file, close it and open it again from the Start folder. At File Reopen, the button is accessible and working, but the file, Sheet 1 is visible. From the ribbon, select View tab, and next Hide button, then this file is hidden. Now, at Excel closing, I save the file, and at Reopen, it remains hidden, but the user form and macros are still active. So, now I want to check if the file is active. I open a new file, and access the VBA window, as presented. Now, you can see that even the file is hidden, the VBA project behind it, is still active and functional. So, it can be used over any open file, and not only, even if is not macro enabled. Now, I switch to Explorer and browse into the server, as presented. In this location, are available the customization file, for Quick Access Toolbar, the final version of personal.xlsb file, and a batch file. Switching windows between server and Excel Startup folder, you can notice that the server variant of personal.xlsb is bigger in size. Now, I run the batch file, and the server version of personal.xlsb file will be overridden on slow start folder version. As you can observe, now, the files are the same. Inside the batch file, there are instructions, first for closing Excel without saving opened files, next to copy and overwrite the file from server to computer slow start folder, taking into consideration the variable %username %. At Excel Restart, the newly copied file is loaded, the link to the Quick Access toolbar kept, and the new interface can be loaded over any Excel file. The new interface is a lot different as the initial one, but is called from the same macro, in order to can use the Quick Access button. Now, I will present a brief summary, regarding the purpose of use, of the buttons in each user form tab. The buttons and check boxes are doing exactly what their name says, over any open Excel file. As you can see, at New Tab selection, the page number is replaced automatically, with a more suggestive title, indicating the purpose of the contained tools. Even a click on a picture will run a macro to do some things, in this case to open the calculator. The interface can be updated, from here, to copy and overwrite the latest version of personal.xlsb file, from the server to this PC, using the batch file presented before. Each tab can be sized as you need, to fit in all the tools, according to your needs. Also, the interface language can be changed, allowing each network user to set his favorite, and then all the texts and button naming will appear in the selected language, as shown. There is also a toggle button, which allows minimize or maximize of the floating interface, to be dragging the interface in a not annoying position, during your work. By click on a picture, I can start a web page, in this case my YouTube one. Now, I will show you the VBA project window. The VBA project is password protected, in order to not be changed by any network user, and work properly. As you can see, there are many user forms and modules added, but the name and location of the macro connected with the Quick Access button remains untouchable, not to affect the interface launching process. So, this is my solution for using and updating over a network, the personal.xlsb file, to store useful macros, and access them via a custom graphical interface, in order to use them, over any kind of Excel files. I consider this solution better than adding a new tab and button group to the ribbon, because many users are hiding the ribbon, in order to have a bigger workspace, and you need to scroll between the ribbon tabs to access it. The advantage is that the Quick Access toolbar, and his buttons are always present, occupying few space than a new tab, and the interface can be minimized and dragged in desired position. I hope you like my solution, and starting from this presentation, you can build your own interface, as your requirements, and update it when you add another feature as presented. Till my next presentation, I wish you all the bests.